All right, headline from Business Insider. Gen Z college grads are having the toughest time finding a job. So let's look at what's going on. Luke Pardue is quoted in this. He's an economist at payroll and benefits provider Gusto, and they did a study. New graduates are getting squeezed out of the labor market on both ends. This is a really interesting development. What does he mean by both ends? Younger teenagers, so they're not even in college yet, and then the youngest of millennials who have more experience than these Gen Zers coming out of college. Hiring rates typically for these workers spike in May and June. New graduates is what we're talking about. But in 2021, we've seen employment growth for recent graduates remain low over the last 2 months. So we're talking about May, June is the data that we're looking at. Teens typically make up 10% of new hires in June. This was pre-pandemic, so pre-2020. Okay. They made up 32% of new hires this last month. So a big spike. Now, here's why. We saw a lot of hourly jobs come back into the marketplace as we saw, let's just call it travel and leisure industries come back online. So restaurants, bars, resorts, hotels, you name it. And so typically, those lower wages would be gobbled up by college grads who may not be able to step right into their career field. Well, they weren't wanting to do it. Or, more likely, based on this data, the rates weren't as high as they want them to be. So you got teenagers who are going, hey, I'll take $11 an hour. I've never made anything, right? Versus the college grads going, man, I sure would like to make $15 to $20 to $25 an hour. So businesses who are able to afford higher wages, they're paying the younger millennials because they've got some experience. They've been in the job market. So they're poaching young millennials who have more experience to offer than the Gen Zers coming right out of college. So this is that kind of perfect storm where it's coming at these Gen Z college graduates from both sides. This is really interesting here. In June of 2021, wages for 25 to 29-year-olds averaged $21.52 an hour in personal services and $21.60 an hour in professional services. So what's interesting is you got those younger millennials that are coming in and grabbing that job versus the Gen Zer who companies may not be willing to pay them as much because they don't have as much experience. So really interesting stuff here. Fresh data. All that to say, if I'm a Gen Z college grad, I'm going to have to swallow my pride. And instead of sitting home and licking my wounds, because this is not necessarily a great job market based on these numbers for you, the reality is I'm going to take what I can now, knowing that it is temporary. I'm going to swallow my pride. I'm going to get hired. I'm going to get in and look to move up quicker. Or I'm going to take this day job and it may only pay me $15 an hour or whatever. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to really work Ken Coleman's proximity principle. I've got this major. I thought I had a direction. And I'm going to work my relationships to get jobs instead of putting myself out there in the resume game only. Because a resume is worthless without a relationship. I've got to have a great resume that gets their attention, but it's got to be full of who I know, and that who I know is not just giving me a strong reference, but also shaking the tree for me. That's the way we get hired. So again, the proximity principle bundle, if you've got a Gen Zer out of college, they're going, hey, I know kind of what I want to do, but I can't seem to break through. That's why I wrote the book. It teaches you how to turn connections into opportunities. It involves some intentionality and hustle, but it's a practical guide how to do that. The other thing is we've got our resume templates built on the Ken Coleman Resume Guide, which is free at kencoleman.com. So start there and get the free resource. But we also have 6 amazing templates, customizable for you, that make you stand out. But you got to use the methodology, not just the resume. And the methodology is in the proximity principle. It's in the resume guide for free at kencoleman.com. But our 6 templates are only $9.99. At kencoleman.com, go to the store. So check it out. You're going to have to do things differently to break out of the pack. You can't just sit there and go, well, Ken said the data said it's hard for me right now, so I'm just going to sit home and play video games and just try to ride the storm out. No, you got to get busy. Don't get discouraged. Get determined. That's how you break through. I still believe we are in a fantastic job market. 9.3 million jobs, the latest data that I've seen. Open jobs. So while I read this data, I know this data is true, but it's like, well, then go get a job. A job is better than no job. And we say, hey, it's temporary. Keeps my juices going. I'm providing for myself. Maybe I've got some extra spending money because I got no debt, and it's providing me an opportunity to have some fun with my friends and family while I'm searching for that ladder in the field I want to be in. Come on. I mean, let's have some perspective here, youngsters. You're going to feel way better about yourself in a job knowing it is temporary. I'm taking care of you, maybe providing some fun money while you're searching for the next. I think the worst thing a college grad can do is get discouraged and just kind of retreat and sit at home and not do much at all. I think it is a recipe for almost instant depression. You've done all this work, you're all excited, you came out ready to go, and you can't get in, and pretty quickly, when the opportunities that you want aren't there, it is a very slippery, very quick slope to, I don't matter, nobody thinks I matter, and I just wasted my last 4 years, and right, and then we turn into Eeyore, moping around all the time. I'm just looking for my tail. Anybody seen my tail? I mean, seriously, they're laughing in the control room, but I mean, that's not picking on you if you feel that way. I'm saying that's a natural human proclivity to get there. Why do you think I talk about doing work that matters? Because everybody wants to do it. And if you don't even have a job, then you start to think that you don't matter, which is a lie from the pit of hell. Don't you believe it? And if I've got somebody's attention right now that's in that, will you call me, please? 844-747-2577, Monday through Friday, 12 to 2. Will you call me? If you've got nobody else to talk to, you can talk to me, and I'm going to grab you through the camera by the shoulders, make you look up, and realize that you have talent, things you do well. You have passion. There is work out there that fires you up when you think about it, when you participate in it. Time stands still. And you have a sense of mission. There are results of that work that you love, that when you see those results in the marketplace, you feel full because you see the significant impact that you're making. It's waiting for you. It's waiting for you on the other side of clarity.